What's up, YouTube? Framinthor coming in hot. I saw a video by Bellular about paladin changes. And you know me, I'm a paladin addict in World of Warcraft, except that I don't really play World of Warcraft for like the last year, basically. Except from some random BOE farm, but honestly I don't even need to do the BOE farms because I got a bunch of them on the auction house, so I log in every couple days to check on them. But on that, yeah, let's check out the video. But first, as always with my reactions, we are gonna read the comments first. Let me just change my camera a bit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, each palace spec should support in different way. Red increases party damage, prot, mitigate damage on entire party. Holy, boost healing done instead of every spec doing the same. Fair enough. Overall, red is the squishiest melee build. Yes, I agree. The opposite of the class fantasy. I agree. Mobility is and has been terrible, even though it was one of the more mobile champions with just passive movement speed, 15% movement speed since classic, right? So getting worse while every other specs gets better. Red doesn't bring utility to justify taking them. True. Everyone has, like, people say it's like, well, you bring Bop, you bring Hand of Freedom. It's like, okay, Hand of Freedom is kind of useless because almost every class has something to negate slows and snares, pretty much, except maybe Warriors. Bop is almost never used for any scenario, except that maybe like if you are in Discord with a tank, you tell him that you're gonna bop him, so he will cancel it right away, but you have to like prepare for that before. And their burst is insane, while outside of cooldowns the damage doesn't feel impactful. It's actually like one of the worst damage outside of cooldowns by a lot. These are the general issues that need to be addressed. One-shotting people when bursting doesn't make up for the other 95% of the time getting kited to hell and back. Yes, paladins have hated Divine Steed from the start. Since Mists of Pandaria, they hated it. Even though, yes, Mists of Pandaria did not have a Divine Steed, it had something to increase your movement speed by 70%. No one liked it. Then in WoD, we got the Steed, or we got 100%. No one liked it. Everyone chose, yeah, we didn't have the Steed in WoD, I believe. I think we had just the 100%, and everyone still chose long Dick of the Law. Like Rune of Power, Blizzard is determined we're going to have it until the end of time, but unlike Rune of Power, they refuse to try to make it better or allow for a choice. Currently there are 4 points you can spend on it. Give a choice like Long Arm of the Law or even Speed of Light. Speed of Light is literally Steed, by the way. Or a reworked version of Pursuit of Justice. That was the passive, yeah. Well, I think Pursuit of Justice, after they remade it, it's like when you spend Holy Power, you get movement speed buff for a certain amount of seconds, I believe. And it's like with every Holy Power you spend to activate Pursuit of Justice, the more movement speed you get, or the longer the duration, something like that. So you actually lose a lot of DPS to use Pursuit of Justice. I think that's what Pursuit of Justice was. This was during MOP as well, so hard to remember. I didn't really play MOP too much. Reduce the number of points for Steed. Have a second talent that gives a second charge and affects the other choice as well, and Paladins will be happy. Long Dick of the Law will be happy. With this it will be better. I still wouldn't be happy. Second, for the rest of Red's mobility issues, we used to have 2 charges of freedom and a spammable ability that would remove movement impairing effects. Did we? Oh, you mean like cleanse or something? Was cleanse on red where it removes movement impairing effects? And 2 charges of freedom, was that in PvE or PvP? I don't remember that. I remember there was 2 charges of freedom, but I feel like it was a PvP thing where it gives you an extra charge. Acceptance at long last. Nice. I got a follow while recording. I'm not even live. That is fucking amazing. Roshinantes, if you watch this video, thank you for the follow. To charge if you want to stick things in high up in the spec tree, please do, but they need something else. You can't have mobility creep but continue to take away the mobility of other specs. And if you insist we can't be more mobile than that, brings me to survivability. Divine Protection coming back is a good start. even though you decide to double the CD for some reason. But look at what every other class is getting. Other classes are being able to take multiple defensive options that used to be a choice, and or getting completely new ones. Why are paladins losing things then by having to choose? It would also be nice to have some baseline survivability outside of a cooldown. You know, since that was how our class was for most of the game's history and the whole fantasy the class was built around. Yeah, we did have passive damage reduction, I believe. Utility. Other classes are getting all kinds of crazy utility. Look at the counterpart of Shaman, while Paladins and especially Ret are severely lacking. The class fantasy was built around having insane utility, so why don't we have any? And also, can we look at Ret Aura? We shouldn't be hoping people in our group die for a DPS increase. We should be saving them. Now here's the thing. Thematically, I agree with the Ret Aura. However, first of all, it used to be a passive in BFA, which people were already not happy about. Now they made it into an aura, so you have to use a GCD if you see someone's about to die, or you have to have it on all the time, which means you have multiple paladins in your group to have the other auras on, which never happens. If there's two other paladins, you're not bringing another ret, okay? Like if you have a prot paladin and a holy paladin, you're not bringing a retribution paladin. There's no need for them. The only reason you bring retribution paladin for anything is for auras. And maybe bop and like a soak. Highly doubt it. You might as well bring a hunter, lower cooldown. But yeah, that makes no sense. We shouldn't be hoping for people to die in our group, die for a DPS increase. Again, used to be a passive, and I get it. You're called Retribution Paladin. Kind of like if someone dies, you look for Retribution, as in like revenge. I get it. As a passive, sure. As an aura. And again, by the way, I don't agree that it should be a passive. Okay, I think the passive was also bad because they made Paladins weaker because they took into account the damage the passive would do. Outside of progression, that passive means jack shit. That is what the Paladin fantasy is, and somewhere along the way we have lost this. We are getting back exorcism, something to do at range while being kited to Africa, but it has no interaction with anything in the rest of the kit, except consecration. Doesn't generate any holy power, doesn't allow for Art of War procs to reset it, but for some reason has a long 20-second cooldown. It's also in a weird spot in the tree when it should be closer to the middle and higher up. Oh, and the weird consecration fetish. Assuming it won't be garbage if tuned properly, it will be garbage. It is garbage. You cannot tune this to not be overpowered. For single targets, it's always going to be garbage. For AoE, you usually want the burst. You don't want the building up. Mobs will always move. Tanks will always be kiting. Consecration, the only time consecration is gonna be decent is if they bring back, I believe it was in Legion, when consecration would follow the paladin. So you would keep... Actually, it might have been actually in Diablo 3. I don't even remember. Consecration, in order for this to work, you need consecration to move with the paladin. Wherever the paladin is, that's where the consecration is. If it's stationary, it sucks ass. It will never work in any scenario outside of like a raid boss encounter. And by the way, even with raid boss encounters, it's mostly a one target, so you're not going to use it. Consecration doesn't really do much for a single target. And even in raid scenarios, the boss will be moving a lot. It's almost never the case that the boss is stationary for a very long time. Actually, okay. Never mind. In most cases, the boss doesn't move a lot, but again, in some cases, the bosses are more mobile. It is terrible in most cases because it is placing something on the ground while everything just moves out of it. Yeah, there you go. If you want this to be how we do AoE, it needs to move with a... Oh, bro, like I didn't even read this part. This guy, smart. Najimba, smart man. Okay, then we have Avenging Wrath being a talent, even though it is a must-have for every spec. Again, the whole mentality of talents in how they're doing it, you have mandatory talents to the point where it's like, it's not a talent, it's part of your fucking kit. And they put it in the talents because they're just not creative enough to do anything proper with it. They just literally put shit as a talent because they had no ideas of what to do with the talent. So they're like, well... This is a main paladin ability, let's put it as a talent. And then another talent in the class tree to bring it back to a 2-minute cooldown on live. Just like, I think it's to a 1.5 minute. I believe. No, it's actually might be for 2, yeah. And then another talent in the red tree to have it function as it does on live. This is ridiculous. Holy Avenger not only doesn't compete with Divine Purpose in output, but being a 3-minute cooldown will never be taken. Just make it 2-minute cooldown. Honestly, Holy Avenger should be a 1-minute cooldown. Hands down. If you want Holy Avenger to be picked, 2-minute is also not enough. You would still take Divine Purpose. Holy Avenger, the only way Holy Avenger works is a 1-minute cooldown, because it would work with, I forgot the name of the ability where you nuke the ground and everything you deal damage to takes more holy damage. It has to be in the same rotation. If it's not, it's useless. The only time you would even use Holy Avenger is literally for that. That's the only purpose for this. This is the how it works together. If it's on a 2-minute cooldown, it's not really worth it. Okay? Because then what happens is on the 2-minute cooldown, that means you're using Wings, Holy Avenger, and you're doing the nuke the ground. It's overkill. That will be a massive problem for PvP. This will be an overkill. Right, you're literally forcing people to do that. Whereas with the 1 minute, and then having what do you call it? Having the Wings on a 2-minute cooldown. Yes, it's still overkill on the 2 minutes. However, you would have to actually properly do the 1 minute, 2-minute rotation, right? So either way, I don't know. I don't like it too much. I prefer the 1 minute cooldown. It also works better on Mythic Pluses. This would actually give Paladins the edge. Again, can it be overpowered? Yeah, honestly, Holy Avenger, if you want to make it good on a 2-minute cooldown, or even a 3-minute cooldown, it needs to also increase the capacity of your Holy Power, like ×2 or ×3, to make it actually good. Right now, just giving you 3 times the Holy Power is so bad, because your Ashes is gonna just give you 5 Holy Power instead of 3, but that doesn't work. So you do Ashes, you do a Templar Verdict, you have 2 Holy Power, right? What do you do next? Oh, Blade of Justice? Well, you all overcapped again, because Blade of Justice would give you 6 Holy Power instead of 3, right? So it's like, it's just overcapping Holy Power. Holy Avenger is just not worth taking it as it is now. It should also increase the cap of Holy Power, at least ×2, at least. Beyond this, the spec tree is a mess of ideas with no clear theme to any of it. I super agree. It's so weird because the left side starts as Divine Storm and the right side starts as Consecration. The middle is like the single target stuff. And then for some reason you have a Divine Storm spell going into the Consecration and a Consecration spell going into the Divine Storm. It's like, why? Like, stick together. Like, why are you mixing weird shits? Like, I don't care about the Consecration build. Don't throw it into my Divine Purpose. Because now I am forced to go to the Divine Purpose, going into the Consecration area to get my Divine Purpose. Just waste of points. I hate the fact that there are so many talents that make Holy Power random, from not using 1 Holy Power to not consuming any, to multiple talents randomly generating Holy Power. I don't want any of that. A secondary resource should be something a player manages, not something that leads you around on a leash. The only one I agree with is I don't agree with the random ones, but there's a talent that makes you, while in combat, every 8 seconds you generate Holy Power. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Random generation sucks because it can ruin your plans. But if you work on like the 8-second cooldown, you can actually get used to a rotation if you play long enough. The 8-second will probably feel natural. Because like, you know, okay, 30 seconds, okay, 40 seconds, you know, boom. You know, you are getting like a good timer. I mean, 8 seconds is not really a good timer. I would say something like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, or 10 seconds would work because it would fit into a 30-second window. Every 8 seconds is weird. Then all the procs you can get. Holy shit. Blade of Wrath can proc as can Wake of Ashes. It's 1 or. There is a proc that drops Consecration. A proc for a free Divine Storm procs for abilities to randomly cast again multiple talents. By the way, the problem with these procs is not so much just because the proc. The problem is you are gonna have to have a weak aura with different symbols on your screen to dictate which one of them procced. Because right now, Divine Storm, I think, is the only one that shows you that there's a proc. No, sorry, Blade of Wrath is the only one that shows you. Divine Storm doesn't even have a proc indicator, except like your button lights up. But it's like, bro, the button's like at the bottom, like it's right here on the screen. With like and it's as tiny as you can because your UI is already taking like 90% of your screen. So you want to see something from the game, right? So you're going to keep your UI pretty small. The only way Divine Storm actually, like you see the proc, is you have a weak aura with the buttons in the middle that like just lights up. It's like, okay, Divine Storm's up. Or you make a weak aura with like a symbol over your head, like what I used to do. Procs for Judgment to cleave, it's just way too much. With all of this, we are back to a whack-a-mole style where you hit what lights up, like we are back in Wrath, except now it is overly complicated. Yep, I could go on, but everything is just... Honestly, the way to play Paladin with all these proc changes is you click 1, 2, 3, you create 2 mouse buttons that are, like let's say 4 and 5, and you just keep clicking all of them, as well as have your one of your spammable abilities, sorry, 2 of your spammable abilities as mouse wheel down, mouse wheel up. So all you do is like you do this with your finger. I know it looks ridiculous. You do this with your thumb, keep clicking the 2 buttons, and then you do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's like literally as you fight anything. Just click everything. Just fucking, you're playing the fucking piano, okay? Oh my god. I could go on, but everything is just a mess right now, and it seems we have to fight tooth and nail with the devs. I mean, what else is new? We get 1 positive change, and Reds are all excited. We didn't get any positive change. We actually didn't get... Reds didn't get any positive change. There is Long Dick of the Law is in the talents, but it's a super nerf version that's almost not worth taking. 20% is really not gonna do much for you. The 40% that was... 40% allows you to get out of mechanics, allows you to get to places faster. 20%, you will barely notice that movement speed. It's not really worth taking, especially on something that it has like an 80%, an 8-second cooldown. But then in the same breath, they still tell us you think you do, but you don't. In regards to Divine Steed, Red needs serious help. Everything they've said for PvP, but seems like everyone seems to forget that these spells are still magic is spammable, and that every goddamn buff, debuff, cooldown a paladin can use is a magic base, and everyone who can use them while moving, running away, or at range. Yes, bro, man, it's like people know what's wrong with paladin. It's as if paladin was literally one of the most popular specs in WoW for like multiple expansions, and people actually know what the problem is with the class and why it's not the most popular spec anymore. Sorry, class. Anyways, let's watch the video. It's been long enough.
Andrew, who said, speaking of fun, it'd be great if you could speak to the Red Paladin mess going on, and the long arm of the law mess statement the devs put out telling us, basically, we still know better than you.
Yes.
I am completely out of the loop for this entirely.
Buy time.
Hello, is anyone willing to sell time at a reasonable price? We don't have the most money going on, but we can maybe strike a deal.
I'll make this a bit faster because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of like rambling about nothing, and also I don't want the video to last like extremely too long.
What have you got for sale? You can get into for time.
Feedback Paladins.
Feedback
this
Paladins.
Is probably
okay.
it.
Yeah, we'll see. This is it. Red Paladins. Usually I would see some noise with that, but I've been substantially less online, which I would highly recommend.
Okay. What have we got here? What have we got? What? This is long armor.
Who makes the minutes fall dead amounting to no passing hour? Yep.
I honestly have no idea.
I mean, long arm of the law was the speed, right? I'm really sorry, I don't remember long arm. It's this. Is it the?
How dare you, Matt? You call yourself a paladin? You don't remember long arm of the law? Jesus Christ, man.
The extra range.
No.
Hand of justice, or is it the
movement speed? The speed boost, brody. What the?
No,
yes. It's the speed boost. Yeah, it's the speed boost.
Yeah. Okay.
Hang on.
Okay, I'm sure someone said something.
Oh, successful. Wait.
So the Tuesday Alpha Notes, apparently.
Oh, and the Tuesday Alpha Notes. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Let's bring up the Tuesday Alpha Notes.
Where's the feedback from anyone that actually enjoys Divine Steed? Yeah. Really cool fantasy. Fucking terrible to play with. I've gotten used to it now that it's really long and Shadowlap.
It's always terrible to play with, unless so here's the only way you make Divine Steed worth a damn. Okay, remove snares, remove GCD. One or the other has to go. Okay, so one or the other has to happen. You either remove snares when you steed up and you are immune to slows and snares, or it's not on the GCD. These are the only real changes Divine Steed needs. Right now, because it's on the GCD and it does remove snares, you have to cast Freedom, which is going to be dispelled or stolen, and you have to cast Divine Steed on the next GCD. Which, by the way, as far as I know, still magic, like the mage ability, I'm pretty sure it's off GCD, because they're spamming the fuck out of it. Okay, like it has its own GCD, but you can spam it almost instantly.
But when they take that away, I'll be back to, can I please have speed of light back?
I mean, the whole idea of just the way that I get around is having a 1.5 second horse. It's pretty, like, weird, isn't it?
It's a
You just appear in a horse for like 1.5 seconds. And
it's a cool idea.
I think it was 2 or 3 seconds. I don't think it was it ever 1.5 seconds? I'm pretty sure it was 3 seconds, and then protection paladins could do it for 5 seconds. I don't know about the 1.5 seconds.
1 second horse. Very strange.
It's a cool idea, and then you play a Tauren Paladin, you're like, whoops, sorry, I need to go fast during PvP. Sorry, I'm in, Warsong Gulch. Can't get through the door fast. Whoops. Sorry about that. Horsey can't go indoors.
Horsey can't go indoors. Yeah.
It's really scuffed. It's the Tuesday alphabets.
Okay. Here they are.
Very good. You got them up? Good.
Evoker, Hunter, Paladin. Aha!
Can't Paladin's bubble heart. Isn't that enough mobility?
Long arm of the law has been deleted. We recognize that movement is fun and feels good when attached to short cooldown buttons. That's it.
Movement is fun. 8 seconds, I guess, is considered short cooldown button. But it's also like something you need to use all the time. Like, I can't even explain. Like, yes, he's right in what he's saying, but I understand where he's going with this, and I'm already saying, like, I already know how dumb this is gonna sound.
Said our goal for Retribution Paladin is to keep their strengths in removing things that hinder their mobility or charge into battle in the Divine Steed, not to give them short duration bursts of movement on a very short cooldown.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean you don't want us to catch up to our opponents? Charge into battle on our Divine Steed. Well, our Divine Steed is stuck because he's snared. It's fucking entangled to the floor. Okay? Our Divine Steed is not very divine, is it? It's a fucking donkey.
The long arm of the law was the successful judgments increased your movement speed by 50% for 3 seconds, which is fucking perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect. That is obviously long arm of the law is a great name for a talent as well, or a PvP ability.
Yep.
But the idea of just I have just gotten in range, you're now fucked. Especially with Hand of Hindrance resulting in a pretty decent slow, means you can gain on people, and if you can, because obviously judgment's cooldown's a bit longer than 3 seconds. So there is a gap to get away. It's not perfect, but the idea of just going, no, Divine State, it's fine. We understand. This doesn't fit.
Yeah, just use a GCD, man. Just use GCD, and also have the ability that is the most obvious freaking ability in the world for mobility. Right? Mages have blink, rogues have sprint, warriors have charge, which is like almost instant at the target location. By the way, also rogues can just blink to the target. Okay, whatever. What's it called? Shamans turn to a wolf. Druids have sprint and also like just snare immunity basically on like no cooldown. Who else? Priests have their own mobility. If you're a disc, like your barrier can give you movement speed and stuff like that, which also, by the way, has extremely low cooldown, and it's a 30% movement increase as far as I remember. Who else am I missing, really? DKs have 2 movement abilities, by the way. One makes you immune to slows, and one makes you immune to slows. Wow. Right? It's like immune to slows and snares. One is just like whatever. No, sorry, they even have a stun immunity. Woo, man. Okay, who else do we have? Hunters. I mean, well, okay, we'll stick to the melee because it doesn't really matter if you're a hunter. Yeah, miss a melee. Monk fucking dashes all over the place and teleports. Demon Hunter dashes all over the place with, by the way, one of the smallest cooldowns in the world, the Fell Rush. Insanely small cooldown. And now the dragon guys, who are not melee technically, they can fucking jump all over the place. You're telling me a paladin is gonna supposed to somehow catch a monk, a demon hunter, a warrior who just jumps around the fucking place and can stun you from long range? A rogue, good luck catching that. A druid, good luck, never gonna catch that. Like, the only way to kill a druid is literally to wait for him to come to you, and hopefully you out DPS him before he runs away again to heal while you heal, and then you have to do it all over again. Hopefully one of your cooldowns like outmatches his, or he makes a dumb mistake or some shit like that. I don't know. Beating a druid is like the most toxic thing in World of Warcraft as far as like PvP goes. Shamans, good luck. Infinite slows unless you kill their totem, which by the way has no cooldown, so you can just keep dropping the totems. And also stun immunity totems, which also no real cooldown. They can just keep dropping them. And they have the wolf form, which is like 40% movement speed, right? Rogues, I mean, I already said that. Monks teleport around the place. And now the new dragon guys. I honestly think the reason they nerf Paladin is because their new class would actually suck if Paladins could actually catch up to them.
Our view for Paladin, you're like, well, fuck your view for Paladin, basically.
Yeah.
If your view for Paladin is it's not allowed to AoE outside Divine Storm until Consecration finally gets important in Dragonflight.
Which it doesn't.
Cool, you've just added that. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh yeah, that's one part of your build, fuck you. You can't have more complexity. Also, we've taken your cooldown and split it up like we did with Feral Druids.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I love when I get Avenging Wrath and it's shit. That makes me very happy.
Yep.
Very happy indeed.
Well, the thing is that some of that is going to feel just good and fine when you are leveling up your character and building all of that.
Look, Horse feels great in PvE. Okay? Ish. Judgment would still feel better. The only thing is Judgment would suck in dungeons, because if you're going from one group of mobs to the next, you cannot, like, if it's a dungeon you can't mount up on, you are not gonna be able to, like, catch up to the group if they, like, move it using mobility, because you need Judgment to actually move. But fuck it, I would still take it.
Yes.
But then when you feel, if you ever in a situation where to feel like you need to take a talent you don't want in order to reassemble the thing that you had.
Yes. Dude, that is such a bad fucking thing that they did with talents. They broke down your fucking skills into talents, and in between them they put some shit you don't even want just to get the things that you already had. I fucking, like, and I knew it. As soon as I knew it, Paladins were not one of the first classes to be done on the talents, it's one of the last ones. I knew it. Paladin's gonna be like overlooked, it's gonna be fucking dog shit. Like, I think everyone knew that.
Yeah.
Then that's the landmine that they can hit. So that's unfortunate for Long Arm of the Law. I mean, I've not played Ret in a very long time, and
You know why you haven't played Red? Because it wasn't fun for a very long time. You know why it wasn't fun? Because everything that was fun about it, they fucking got it.
any sort of proper
I'm way too heated for
you
this.
know,
God
sense.
damn, man.
But it certainly seems like it would be nice to count on
man.
Long Arm of the Law, and it will feel not nice to not have that.
Yeah. It's...
And by the way, the long arm of the law that they had, the 20% movement speed, was dog shit. Was straight up dog shit. No one even liked it. It's better than not to have it, but no one liked it. 20% is fucking dog shit. 40%, 50%, right? 40% I think is more than enough. 50%, I guess that's what they say it used to have. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was 40%. But fuck it. Like, it's so good.
It's interesting. It's just kind of like the idea that they've always had that. Cause I saw someone bring this up in chat where view for Pally is wheelchair spec, and it's like why is that the case?
It's a wheelchair spec with only one wheel. That's how bad it is. It is the least mobile spec in the game, and by mobile I mean the least ability to get to an enemy that runs away. DKs have pulls, they have slows, they have snares, they have stuns. Do they have stuns actually? Oh, they have a freeze, so technically they have a stun. They have 2 movement abilities. Even though technically in a race, like from getting from point A to point B, a paladin would win over a DK, sure. A DK would win if he has to get a target to him, or to get himself next to a target. A DK would always win. Even if they have grip on cooldown, DK would probably win.
Why do they have to feel so wheelchair in a game that, like, makes enough sense for PvP, right? If you're going to be playing a game where, hey, we're going to go and plate is slow but dangerous, in the same way DKs technically are, where they bring you to them, they slow you.
Yes, DKs are slow and dangerous, but they can bring the target to them. What does Paladin have in that aspect? Nothing. Every other melee character can, every other tank, every other plate can get to the target like this. By the way, every other, I mean like Warrior, because there's no one else. Warrior has a jump and has a charge. Insane fucking ability. And by the way, can do a double jump in PvP and has 2 charges and 2 charges of charge. As funny as that sounds. So much better. Oh, by the way, don't forget, DK not only has his regular grip, he also has the Maldraxxus grip thingy.
They kill you in.
Just keeps pulling you in.
But that's almost never how the game actually works, right? The game never works like plate. Oh, plate actually is notably stronger because so many specs have tools. It often feels like
plate feels like fucking paper. Mages destroy plate. Rogues just don't even care about armor. I think armor hasn't been relevant in World of Warcraft since like Wrath of the Lich King, maybe Cataclysm. Not to the point like if you hit a priest with like 1,000 damage on a plate wearer, it would be like 800 damage. First of all, not a big difference. Second of all, that's not how it works. You have so much armor penetration in the game on almost every fucking class was doing physical except Paladin, because Paladin is a holy damage which no one can resist, and physical. So the physical doesn't do any damage and the holy damage is fucking like whatever. It's like on a cooldown. Unless you burst someone down with all of your holy damage because they can resist it, you can't do anything. But look at Clothies, who are supposed to be very squishy. Oh, they're so squishy with all their barriers. Every fucking 10 seconds they have a barrier for half their HP. Yeah, they're so squishy, bro. Oh, how about Warlock? Oh, they're so squishy. They only have 20% more HP than everyone else. And they have a fucking shield, like a damage reduction permanently. And they perma-slow you too. Yeah, man. Yeah, Clothies are the real weak ones. Plate wearers, oh my god, they're so tanky, bro. They're so tanky, they just fucking melt like nothing.
Sometimes in PvE, it depends on like kind of who's balanced to be what.
Oh god.
But most things have the tools to do whatever the hell they want. It's like, oh yeah, well there's a rogue just popping evasion, so it doesn't matter if, you know, the paladin is like immobile and is finally caught up to the hand of hindrance. They just go, nope, I'm fucking out of there. Or, you know, a mage just double blinks away, you know, Frost Nova blink away, caught up, Frost Nova blink away.
Yep.
And it's the kind of thing where there feels like there's a power creep, so the wheelchair fantasy just fucking sucks.
Yep.
It just doesn't bring anything
It doesn't
really good.
work. Oh, wait, but this is the excuse that everyone uses when you talk about how weak paladins are. Well, they have this PvP talent, something sacrifice, I think, or whatever. I don't remember. Hand of Sacrifice, maybe. But it basically makes your party member immune to stuns. So it's like you remove a stun for 5 seconds, they're immune to like the same CC. Oh my god, it's so good. I mean, it's so good because it's not like mages can just blink out of stuns and it's like they don't even need it, so you can't really use it on mages. Like, what's the point? Oh, you can use it on warrior. Ah, wait, warrior can also immune to stuns. You can use it on DK. Ah, wait, DK also immune to stuns. It's like, oh great, almost everyone is immune to stuns. Thank God I have a fucking ability that makes others immune to stun. The only reason you even saw Ret in any competitive PvP play was because they had insane one-shot potential, like overkill. And then they nerfed it, and then everyone also got HP, and Red became the dog shit that it actually is, which I called in like 9.1. I called it as soon as like they nerfed some abilities. They nerfed Divine Toll, and they nerfed some other stuff, and they also, before that, they nerfed Execution Sentence not able to crit anymore. Once they nerfed those, and like a few more stuff, like just overall damage, I think was nerfed by like 10%, and I knew there's gonna be a stamina power creep, like where people have like 100 million HP, Paladin is gonna be fucking dog shit again. Is it possible to get Rival? Is it possible to get 2400? Yes, sure, it's possible. Anyone is possible. However, are you gonna have an easier time on a Rogue, on a Warrior, on a Mage, on a Priest, on a Druid, on a Hunter than you would on a Paladin? Yes, you would. Like, not even close, not even comparable.
Especially when Divine Steed is in such a long cooldown unless you do something about it. And just feels
And
like,
GCD.
yeah, no, it's not. It's just not really kind of.
I guess losing
really
your
good.
conduits that
Yeah.
make Divine Steed last so much longer,
Yeah.
and then also losing Long Arm of the
Who cares if it lasts longer? It doesn't even matter if it lasts longer. It's so visible, you can easily avoid it. Okay, so here's the okay. So you pop the first of all, you have to pop Blessing of Freedom because you probably like if someone ran away from you, they also slowed you or they snared you or something like that. So there's no point popping Steed. If you pop a Steed, they're gonna stun, snare, whatever you. Okay, let's say you just stun, snare, slow, whatever, and they ran away. You have to Freedom and then you have to Horsey. Okay, by the time you get to them, it doesn't even matter if you still have the horse. You already got to them. They're not running away anymore. Having it for 5 seconds or 3 seconds doesn't matter if you always get to them within the 3 seconds. It's like, it's not the duration. The problem is the GCD. Also, by the way, they see Freedom. Oh, still Freedom. You know? Freedom. Oh, stun. Fuck you, you can't move. It's like Freedom. Oh, Cyclone. Like, so dumb.
law. It's a pretty shit double whammy.
Yeah, that's one of the things where it's like because it's PvP, it's kind of annoying. But I mean, especially in PvP.
Oh, by the way, and for those who are gonna comment, like, oh, but you can reach them, you know, with Freedom. If like, what if you can't reach them within 3 seconds, but you can reach them within 5 seconds? Bro, in what universe you can't reach somebody within 3 seconds? If you still have Freedom on. 3 seconds literally running from one side of the arena to the other. That's pretty much 3 seconds on a Steed.
Because I think this is where most players will care. Because Long Arm of the Law was going to be a talent that you could, you know, well, maybe even for PvP, but like the idea of just not being able to go places in PvE is really shit. Because even like, if you think about how your paladins are supposed to be resilient, they don't really have that many more tools than most.
They're down.
For movement, they've got Blessing of Freedom, which removes the hindrance from PvP.
Yeah, it doesn't give movement
But
speed.
that's about it. They've got Bop, but
Which
Bop
is
has
useless.
its own thing, only blocks physical damage.
Oh, you mean Bob that can be stolen, shattered, dispelled? That Bob? Yeah, that's very useful. And considering almost everyone's doing magic damage, like yeah, it's very very useful.
Then you've got, say, Shield of Vengeance. I can never remember the name of it. I want to call it Divine Protection, but that's the
Same one,
holy
yeah,
one.
same shit.
Hey, you've got Shield of Vengeance, but you compare that to again like a mage. It's like, well, you've got Ice Fire every fucking 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So there's like a mismatch in tools and fantasy that kind of makes it squishies don't feel squishy because if squishies are squishy, then they just die in PvE. So plate doesn't feel any stronger.
Nope. But it feels
But
like
they
shit.
still fantasy-wise are supposed to feel that way.
Oh, but we have Word of Glory that can like almost lay on hands. First of all, nerf to fuck, okay? So Word of Glory doesn't even feel good in PvP anymore. Second of all, if we're doing Word of Glory, we are losing like a shit ton of our damage. Generating holy power outside of cooldowns is really fucking hard and annoying, especially in PvP. You are not getting to 5 holy power almost ever. You're getting to 3, 4 maybe, unless you're trying to prepare like Seraphim, whatever. Then you're like delaying to try and get to the 5, so you can Seraphim and then nuke. But you're not getting to 5 holy power like almost ever, except for like once every 45 seconds because of ashes. And usually you would save ashes for your nuke, so it's a 1 minute. So every 1 minute you would get to 5 holy power, realistically in PvP. Which means if you're doing Word of Glories a lot, you're not doing any damage outside of cooldowns. You're just healing. You're there to be a healer. Meanwhile, mages, like all the clothies, are either doing damage while they're healing, or it's like an instant, a barrier or whatever, which is like not even a heal.
But they aren't.
Yeah, well.
And then you sat there going, well, is my advantage that I'm slower and have more armor, which doesn't matter to
Yep.
magical damage coming through.
And it doesn't
So it's
matter to
like, oh,
anything
you've got
really
Ice
in
block that heals you,
PvP.
I've got divine shield. Ice block wins. It doesn't literally because you can attack during divine shield and stuff, but like, it's still very interesting that the speed is kind of.
Ice block wins because first of all they have 2 of them. Right. Forget all the other tools that Mage has, like Blink and all that stuff. You pop wings, they pop what's it called? They pop Ice block. You pop Divine Protection, they pop Ice block. Literally for the whole duration. So like, okay, so you can do this. You can do Divine Shield, and you know you're not going to do any damage during it. So, well, I guess you're healing. Well, you can't do damage to me because I'm in an Ice block. It's like, oh, you popped your wings? Oh, well, I'm in an Ice block, so like your wings went to shit as well. No, like, and that's like both my biggest defensive and biggest offensive. Meanwhile, that's only the offensive on the Mage. He didn't even pop any offensive yet. He just popped defensives.
Just give a Speed of Light, thank you.
Well, it could be more than that. So, Andrew,
Dude, why does everyone want Speed of Light? Speed of Light is the steed, though. Speed of Light is the steed. I don't understand why people say, give me speed, what's it called? Speed of Light. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's the fucking steed. That's the Speed of Light evolved into the steed. That's the same shit.
super following up on things. So, the basic sentiment
Wow,
is
we can
what
get
reason
spell
is to bring
warding, great.
Ret to a raid or an M+. There's no raid buff or like
Yep.
super unique thing
Nothing.
that like Ret specifically has. Also,
Yeah.
the Paladin
No.
forums on the NA side have been lighting up since that post. No one knows what this vision for, basically, Blizzard have their vision for Ret. Players aren't necessarily feeling that. And I guess that's
It's like, I have a vision for Red that no one is ever gonna play it. This is my vision for it. Except like people like the idiots like me who are just like obsessed with a Retribution Paladin because it was like, that's what I grew up on since TBC. I'm like fucking Red Paladin and whatever other spec I have time for. Only WoD I think I was Tank and Holy and I wasn't Red at all. But like every fucking expansion I am Red main. Because it was so impactful. It felt like big damage. But man, I've been suffering since, I would say even Legion, I've been suffering. Like, it's, as far as PvP goes, I haven't liked PvP since WoD. WoD was the only time I really enjoyed PvP, and you know why? A long dick of the law. That's right.
interesting thing because that's maybe more of a like really trying to push it to the limits. I mean, here's maybe a decent example. Like having a paladin in your group can feel really powerful and really awesome because they can just
right.
like throw an off heal on, or like do.
In what raid does a paladin throw an off heal? Waste a GCD on an off heal. When does this even necessary? If your healers are doing their job, you do not need to throw off heals. It's so fucking dumb. All of the raids are catered to being able to heal it with the healers you have. It's not like you can, well, this fight usually requires 5 healers, but because we have a red paladin, we can get away with 4 healers. He just needs to heal in like critical moments. Never gonna happen. Never. What are you talking about? You're never replacing a healer. Oh, you can throw a spell. If you need to throw a spell for healing as a red paladin, your healers need to like change jobs because they suck.
Some kind of cool little bit of utility, whatever. But I guess when you really want to try to push things, like really in maybe an M+ or something, you need more than that.
Yeah.
You need something that's like not just...
Oh no, you know what you need in Mythic Plus? You need players that can mess stun, mess snare, mess slow, and do big AoE damage, as well as decent single target damage. Depends on the week. Sometimes you need massive single target damage and like decent AoE. You know what Paladin brings to that? Aside from dying because he popped wings on an AoE pack and the tank can never hold aggro because the burst is so much higher than anyone else's damage for like a second. So like if you are a red paladin, you actually have to not DPS for a second or two because just your burst is gonna be equivalent to a person's 6-second damage. Therefore you're gonna steal all the aggro and just instantly die. You literally have to pop your fucking bop or your bubble every time you pop wings if you wanna participate in the fight as soon as possible when it comes to AoE. It's so dumb. As much as I love the burst damage of red paladins, it is such a dumb design coming like from an aggro perspective. Reduce the aggro for fucking Divine Storm and the fucking light thing, whatever it's called.
Nice to have
Level 50
you don't
talent.
need the paladin to be like, oh, resilient friendly bro who can throw me an off heal. It needs
Yeah,
to be like
that's
a
not what it's
fundamental toolkit thing.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I think
You wanna
And this is
okay?
where
You wanna like you know what was the best healing red paladins did when they shot Divine Storm and it healed the group. Then you can have it as like an off healer because every time I Divine Storm into an AOE, I would heal the group a bit. That felt good. I don't have to waste a GCD unless I like really need to help with the heals. And again, Mythic Plus, it happens. The healer's struggling, everyone's taking damage. It's grievous, so like you can help him out, whatever. Like it happens. Sure, it shouldn't happen, but it happens. Mythic Plus, not in raids. Okay, but Divine Storm AoE healing was one of the best designs that Paladin ever had, as far as like off healing.
you get into all these problems because, as an example, Ret is theoretically a great off healer, but
But then does no damage.
Selfless Healer isn't all that strong
Nope.
because it would be a
not.
little bit too strong for self healing and stuff. But then you get like Healing Hands, which is Healing Hands is great, but it costs your output to heal.
Yep.
Same
So you don't
with
do
like
damage?
Enhancer Challenge where it costs your output to heal. So you can't really go for, oh yeah, they're kind of an off healer, because they are, but only in danger, and they have to sacrifice their own DPS. And this is where you fall into the traditional problem of hybrid stuff, where
Yep.
for so long druids were kind of pointless. Whenever the game started to get to the Wrath and Kata stuff, they started to struggle because
I wish druids were still pointless, but that's just me hating druids.
it's like, well, you can't be able to heal in DPS because then you're better than anyone else. If you do as much DPS and can also heal, then you're objectively better. So why the fuck would anyone bring anything else? So to be a hybrid, you have to sacrifice your core, like, actual output,
Yeah.
which then means why bring you if no one needs healed?
You want to sacrifice my actual output whenever I use Word of Glory, which doesn't cost Holy Power. My damage is reduced by 10% for the next 5 seconds. Here, there you go. There, you solved the DPS problem. You solved me out DPSing everyone while also being able to heal. When I heal, I also will deal less damage.
Which is going to be the goal all the time. You're never going to go, oh, well, we should maybe bring, you know, a couple off healers. You'll go, fuck it, we'll cut someone and bring a healer instead, or bring an extra healer, or something along those lines.
Of course.
Or, you know, you're maybe just not cut out for it. So is that awkward
That's what I
situation
said,
of,
yeah.
like, what do they have unique over Holy Paladins who can just do all
Like, when do you need an off healer, realistically? If you can do all the content without an off healer, you do not need the healing of a red paladin. This only really matters in PvP, which, by the way, it also doesn't matter in PvP with the toolkit that everyone has. I don't know if everyone noticed, but like, have you seen like Zarya duels and shit like that? Have you seen how many times he gets to 10% HP, survives for another half an hour, somehow even has time to get to full HP from some other shit, maybe some food here and there, maybe something else, crafting his own food when he runs out in a 30-minute duel? Had anyone else seen that? Anyone seen that rogues can just stealth forever in PvP and get their HP 2% HP back every like 3 seconds or some shit? Anyone else seen this? What do you mean we're like off healing?
Paladin utility and also like
Christ,
do the job
man.
fully well? Or a prop Paladin who can, even with like Word of Glory, the free one, every now and again, prop Paladins can off heal way better than Red Paladins can at no cost to their own efficiency whatsoever. And
Oh, prot?
tremendously
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
to the point where, you know,
yeah.
obviously
If you have a prot paladin, like you'd never need a red paladin, like for anything. You already have the aura that you need and much bigger heals. Like yeah, there's no need for a red paladin as far as like anything goes.
they changed up how
And AoE damage is about the same. It's like with all the shields flying around.
prop Paladins healed, because in Legion they were fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And just, oh, someone's at 10% HP, nice.
Nice.
Full healed.
The
Yeah.
less health you have, the more
That was
powerful
fucked
it
up.
will be.
Yeah, it was straight up just, oh, yeah, you could just solo heal.
You just may as well
forever.
lay on hands, lay on hands, lay on hands, lay on hands.
Yeah, that's what it
That
felt
was pretty
like.
fun.
And then-
Super
It was
Yeah,
definitely
and
pretty
like,
fun.
if you want to say
busted, but pretty fun.
because obviously Andrew's throwing another super in there, saying, you know, all the stuff that encourages degenerate gameplay, like Ret Aura and Shield of Vengeance. It's like, why did someone have to die for me to benefit? Yeah, that's kind of the thing where that's a cool fantasy in PvP of Shield of Vengeance. Someone has to peel from you, or they risk taking a lot more damage.
Yeah, or even just fighting some mobs in the world.
Yeah, or fighting mobs in the world, yeah. But then in PvE, it's like, well, I'm going to stand in the shit to actually do as max damage as Shield of Vengeance.
Yep.
I'm going to, especially even with, I think it just does extra damage based on the balancing of sacrifice absorption, or how much sacrifice is transferred in the new Alpha Talent tree. And that's kind of like a little bit degen.
Not sure that, but Shield of Vengeance should either be able to blow it up on command for the same amount of damage, or it can absorb damage and then blow up. Like, there you go. Just add as like when you use it, you have like, let's say it lasts for 8 seconds. In those 8 seconds, if you click the button again, you can just blow it up. And there you go. You solve the problem of Shield of Vengeance.
It's obviously fantasyful, but not really very degenerate. Like, they could probably do something better with the idea of retribution, or, you know, like I think it's been changed a little bit for it's been changed for Dragonfly, where it's, I think if someone,
you know what retribution aura should be? There was I believe like something similar in PvP. It's still there at PvP talent. That's like when someone gets below 40% HP, you get wings, or if someone takes damage a certain amount of times, you get % crit or some shit like that. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's the Crusader or some shit. I don't know. There you go. No one has to die. When someone is in danger of dying, under 40% HP, 30% HP, whatever, you get wings. You get something. You get bonus damage. No one has to actually die for that, you know?
It goes below 40%.
There. It's problem solved again.
Not ideal.
But then again, like, it needs also to have an internal cooldown, otherwise you're just getting wings left, right, and center. But here's another problem with that. Knowing this, Red Pal, which again, it's a non-issue, but an issue. If you want to be like top Red Paladin, you're going to have to ask your group to start sacrificing themselves to get to low HPs very often. You're going to have to start asking the healers not to heal to a certain amount so the Paladins can get their buffs, right? So again, very problematic to solve. But at the same time, we in a world where we have PI and all that shit, if multiple priests keep giving PI to the Paladin, guess what? His parse is going to look way better than like any other Paladin.
Don't want that to happen.
As well as
so
Retribution Aura.
Every X damage that your ally or your team takes, you get X whatever. But even that's degenerate, because then it's
Yep.
You have people take extra damage to make your parse better.
Yep.
Or to make you do more damage, and that's what like
exactly what I said.
Stuff, but it doesn't
work.
I guess
it doesn't
like
fit in PvE in the clean form that it is now. It fits in the past, so without suddenly being
The Retribution Aura only fits in progression. It does not fit in actual like clear content. If you're doing clear content, you're actually doing less DPS than you did in progression, which feels really bad.
to heal a lot for free, or have a load of passive healing in the same way that Nature's Vigil is the druid ability that turns 20% of single target damage into healing, and vice versa. Unless they get something like that, or like even like Divine, because I think Divine Storm used to heal at some point.
Yep.
I think that might have been a Legion artifact power, artifact weapon talent.
No, I don't think so.
A little bit. It's like they need to get healing in there for free, or something paladin in there for free, or at least something that is stronger than, I guess, just bring a prop paladin. Or just bring a holy paladin.
And then it's kind of tricky,
the only way to do that is give them more damage. But where's the unique part?
If it just turns into give them a buff, that's like, you know, whatever. That's just like hitting the problem with a mallet.
Yeah.
Because then if we always do that, then well, you can see the problems. That's actually something Blizzard have talked about themselves a lot. There's another side. Katie here dropped a super saying with how the ability, the Drakthir hover ability works. I'm amazed they don't just make wings give you a small flight and some speed, kind of like Urel from WoD. There you go. So every time you hit wings, you are taken to the fucking skies. Which I mean, hey, that could.
That could actually solve a problem, not to the skies, but it's like wings can charge you to the target. I can see that as solving a problem. It's not great, but at least it like makes it so your wings are not completely wasted. Because again, the most visually appealing buff, first is the mobility, second one is the wings. If everyone sees your wings, it's a lot easier to know that's like, oh shit, he has wings, stun, CC him, don't let him come anywhere near me. However, if you pop wings and you charge to the target, it's a bit harder to deal with, you know?
How would I put that with wings? Because obviously you'd never use wings as a bit of movement utility in that world.
That's
No.
But it would ensure that whenever you use wings,
You get the
I guess you
target.
could say that would make wings interesting in PvP.
Yep.
Because you could chase somebody, and it would also mean that, like, you use wings, you kind of know you can get to the person that you want to go after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
Never gonna
that's
happen.
a cool idea, and would probably be helpful for the overall fantasy and stuff like that. Because wings feels fucking good as it is. Crusade used to feel really good until they
Wings feel so good that it just feels bad not having them on. That's how good wings feel.
nerfed the shit out of it, basically. But I'm trying to think of like what's good for them for. Because the only thing I can really think of that works for PV in like the grand sense is just something fucking boring or milquetoast. Like, hey, what if they get AMZ, Paladin
Yeah,
AMZ,
so, like,
or something like that? Like,
Andrew Superden, I think, maybe brings up some of that point.
Yeah.
In a way, it feels like whoever's designing Ret's doing it based in PvP, not PV, which is frustrating, beyond frustrating. We just need a voice. Feels less like the feedback. Basically, doesn't feel like the feedback's being heard. And then that's kind of interesting because I think Paladin ends up like performing really well in this PvE one-man army class fantasy where it's just so nice to have a Paladin around. But then, as you said,
Yeah.
there are the penalties for being a hybrid. And
well,
when
they technically aren't, but they're sort of they're theoretically is.
yeah, so then it's that weird thing where it's like, if you are really trying to push it to the limit,
Yeah.
then them having a little bit of hybridiness, or suddenly their Divine Storm heals a bit, like that's not going to be a fundamental utility thing that's like a big reason.
Yeah.
In the same way that like Aspect of the Fox, say back in Kata or whatever
Fair
that
enough.
was. Was that Kata? Was that
feel like
that
it's
WoD?
Kata.
I don't think that was WoD. Anyway.
Well, it was in
Right.
WoD because
But where it's like, that's the
Maybe
thing
both.
they do that's really big and really impactful, and that's like their big reason in PvE. I guess like with, some sort of like barrier or something.
Yeah, I mean, Druids of Stampeding Roar, that's like super important a lot of the time. You've got AMZ, which was, until the change, was extremely valuable, and you just
Yup.
stack DKs and if you needed, like,
Yup.
to actually limit the amount of damage you're taking for big
Yup.
damage events, stuff like that.
Don't forget warriors. Don't forget warriors. Like was 20% HP buff for like a few seconds. Yep, same shit.
Not really great in PvP either. I guess that's the sort of thing. If the core class fantasy is you are this, like my belief is so strong, I'm a one-man army. I can be invincible for a bit. I can heal.
Yeah.
You can do all that stuff. It's like great for low-level teamwork. Great for being individually very capable.
Yeah.
Maybe less great for the like comp building side.
Oh no,
And maybe that's
very
just what's
bad for comp
interesting.
building side.
Whereas, because I feel like for the average rate
Paladin, the support class that no one wants supporting them because they're not really supporting anyone.
group of like average to not that good
It's
players,
crazy, man.
there's definitely very high value of having a few
Yeah.
people who can throw an audio in. Or who can do something that's helpful and have a nice little bit of
Yeah, I mean, the amount of... honestly, I think most of our mythic kills in Taurus were down to, people like me being able to beat Prop Pal and go, fucking there you... Oh, what's that? A DPS is about to die? No, you're not. Never mind. Even like Leon Hansen stuff is like good as that. Bop's good like that. Spell warding being potentially a red thing. I say potentially because they can take it. But if I don't remember the class tree very well, I think that comes at a little bit of a sacrifice to what Rets should have all the time. Because it's pretty deep in the... It's like the bottom
Well,
of
it
the
takes
middle,
away
is where
Bop.
Prot kind of goes. So
Turns
it's like there's a
Bop
little
into
bit of,
spell warding.
just that identity loss of maybe they need a like AoE healing cooldown. That might work. Where maybe it's small, maybe it amplifies healing, something along those lines. But it needs to have something that the other Paladin specs don't. That actually feels really good to have. because there's no point to take one at the minute.
Nope.
I mean, even there's a version of
There really hasn't been a point taking Red Paladin since Legion, basically. You would take Red Paladins, I think, like, on Taurus, their damage was just busted. Like, they were top tier damage. But as far as, like, anything else, there's no reason to take Paladins. Like, as far as utility goes, like Red Paladins, you would have a Holy and a Prot, and they cover all the utility you ever need from Paladin. There's no point bringing a Red ever.
where maybe even you go, maybe they get their own aspect of the Eagle. Maybe during a cooldown they can just exercise a range and that does plenty of damage, so they have like flexibility there. Or maybe, no, that's a little bit strong, but the old, oh my god, I can't remember what it's called.
You know what Distribution Aura should do, realistically? When a person, if they already want to do it like that, when a person dies, it gives a mini wings to the whole raid team. So it's like wings, let's say, is 20% crit, 20% damage, or 30%, I don't remember. This would be like 5%, 5%. 5% damage increase, 5% crit chance to the whole raid. Is it gonna be busted? Fuck yeah. It's gonna be busted. And will people intentionally die for this shit? Yes, they will. But that's the only way you can make Retribution Aura even make sense.
The old Holy ability, the cast time ability they had, that would stop an enemy from critting while I was up.
Ah.
Maybe something along those lines. Maybe something that fits the feeling of defensiveness or healing that they can do on command to feel better than Holy or better than Prot, or at least different. Even Divine Steed gives other people speed boosts. I don't know. Wings gives... No, you couldn't have Wings give other people crit. That would be fucking crazy good.
Oh
but
boy.
that would be cool. Because I mean,
Wow,
the pack,
dude,
5%
Matt,
crit.
exactly what I just said. Well, kinda what I just said.
Back in the day for Mark of the Wild, the minute gives them stat. Why not have a wing? Well, no, I suppose you can't have wings give extra fucking damage because
Then you tie that into your power infusion, and
no, well, it's not
now
even,
you're in trouble.
It's
with a
not
lot
even
of
PI.
people
It's
that are-
more that then you have the denounce. Yeah, denounce. Yeah, I remember it was Holy, but I was thinking about it like, what could they possibly do? Fucking make wings make everyone do more damage for the duration as well, and then just
Basically.
make them impossible to not bring. Sorted, fixed. I fixed your game, Blizzard. Thank you.
You fixed
Thank
them.
you.
Yeah.
Humongous.
Yeah, just fix your game, but like obviously overbuffing Paladin's not gonna fix it. Just remove all the raid cooldowns, but they clearly don't want to do that because that's part of like what they want to do in Blizzard in WoW. Then make everyone bring something. That's it. Make everyone bring something. You clearly already kind of do. Everyone already kind of brings something, except for Paladins. Red Paladins, that is.
This hammer.
Yeah, isn't that fitting?
There we
Isn't
go.
that fitting?
There we go. Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. Venging Wrath gives all of your party 50% bonus damage.
Hell
during its
yeah,
duration,
buddy.
With only one paladin there.
Yeah. No,
Now there'll
yeah.
always be a red paladin.
No, then you have to use wings for others.
Now there are gonna be multiple Paladins because one Paladin finishes his wings, the other one starts them. You need 5 Paladins and you have infinite wings.
Rather than your personal DPS.
There we go. There we go.
It is impossible to do things right here.
I love it. Every fucking all of the normal MMO fucking arguments and counterpoints.
Yeah,
Yeah, we need something like a blessing or a real aura that makes red desirable. Mop Wadrow is probably the best
Yeah.
red in a long while. Regardless of discussion this. Oh, you're welcome. No, it's interesting.
Yeah, I
What
think
way to go with things.
class design and class fantasy
I mean,
is super.
they already had it. They had Greater Blessing of Kings and Greater Blessing of Might. Just bring that back. Like, fuck, man. Like, I don't understand why they don't bring that back. Not the blessing that you can put on one character. For the whole group. Wisdom on all the healers. Fucking Kings on all... Well, honestly, Might, King... Like, you bring 3 Paladins. You have Blessing of Kings, Blessing of Might, and Blessing of Wisdom on the whole fucking group.
important for like how
You're
you do-
gonna bring
how do you-
paladins all
How
the
do you be a
time.
red paladin and feel really cool without it sacrificing DPS?
I guess just like
There's a
a
lot of
Not happening.
other classes
Not
go out of their way
happening.
to not sacrifice DPS to do the thing
That's
that they
how
do.
it's not happening.
Or even do stuff out of combat that's really interesting. Maybe there's like is there maybe a group pacify you could do to mimic a cloak of shadows or something like that? Something like that, maybe. I don't know. That would be a bit weird. That's more of a priesty kind of thing.
Consecration reduces damage by 5% when standing in it. I don't know, like...
I think, but like the kind of we're good holy guys. Don't touch us. We're good from that wouldn't make sense, but you know the kind of idea.
Yeah.
There's loads of ideas, and it's just this is where I get annoyed with the game having 38 fucking specs. Whereas like
Yep.
if I bet the person who did that tree would love another week to sit and mull on it and think of what they could do is really cool.
Yeah.
And get the implementation of that.
But they won't, because Paladins are one of the last. Again, Holy Paladin was like risked last, right? But like, yeah, Paladins are just the one of the last classes to be tweaked with talents. Yeah, it's gonna have the least amount of shit in it. To the point where like they just broke down the skill points, put them on the talent tree, as in like, here, earn it back, fuckers. Earn it back. Here you go, puppy. Here you go. Here, doggy. You want your skill back? You want your skill back? Here you go. Here you go. Well, you have to take this. You gotta have your vitamins if you wanna get the skill. Fucking A, man.
Because that's the other thing you think it's interesting. So much of what's... Because I think I saw Word Up talk about this earlier on Twitter, saying everyone's asking me how enhancement plays. Can't fucking tell you. It's not done yet. They've got so many talents that are NYI, not yet implemented.
Yeah,
true.
And that's the case for... It was the case for Rogue as well. I wanted to try a couple cool new sub-Rogue things. And it's like, sorry, it's not in. Like, alright, never mind. Like, it's alpha's alpha. The game's not done yet. But you really think there's just not really enough there, I guess.
Yeah.
Just not really enough.
I have no words, man. Like, honestly, like I already had like no expectations for Dragonflight, especially when it comes to Paladins. But let's be real. Even those, like, my lack of expectations has been a disappointment. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I can't believe it. So I also can't believe that this video is 1 hour and 7 minutes on a 20-minute React video. Jesus Christ. I need to stop doing that. No one's ever gonna watch this, especially this part. If you ever get to this part of the video and you watch this part, say so in the comments. I actually want to see if anyone ever manages to get to the end of this video. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you in the next one. Peace.